decides, well, I'll just shoot it on this side. It's a nice layup. Boy, he played so well to start this game.
It's an early start for Kyle Kuzma and the Lakers, but Kuz promising a better is coming. Laker Nation is on board with that. Alex Caruso has had the hot hand of late. We'll go one-on-one with AC Fresh a bit later in the show as the Lakers welcome the West top seed to L.A. Rudy Gobert is one of several Utah players who will not be in action today. It's the Lakers and Jazz coming up from Staples Center. Tip-off is at 1:30 right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. The Lakers have won the last 3 home meetings. As we say hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the Hall of Famer, big game James Worthy, GM, head coach, the LA Sparks, 5-time champ with the Lakers, Derek Fisher, which, speaking of, we're going to talk a lot about the Sparks coming up. But first, a Tar Heel on board.
Yes, right.
Busy couple days for you.
Yeah, busy couple days. Feeling good, though. Great draft night. Very fortunate, excited, looking forward to the season.
Sparks made some noise on draft night. We're going to dive into it in just a minute. But first, big news for today's game. The Lakers aren't the only ones dealing with injuries. Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell suffered a right ankle sprain in yesterday's game with the Pacers. It was a win. Mitchell had an MRI, which revealed no structural damage, but he's expected to miss multiple games before he returns. So likely Monday against the Lakers, too. Donovan was averaging 29.6 points per game after the All-Star break, second behind only Steph Curry. But that's not all. As we know, Lakers are without AD and LeBron as expected, but the Jazz are also sitting Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Derek Favors. They're also out today. I think as we start, first and foremost, we talked about it the other night. A lot of injuries this season across the board. We saw the most recent one with Jamal Murray. That's an ACL out for the season. It's good to see the MRI came back clean for Donovan Mitchell. Big game.
Yeah, you always want to see a negative MRI. That means you can heal and have therapy and maybe get back on the court a lot quicker. But, you know, a lot of games packed in all together, a lot of back-to-back games this year coming out of that bubble. We talked about that turnaround. Ankle sprains happen. I mean, it happens. But, you know, I think that was just a situation where it was just a bad luck. But there's a lot of games packed in together, a lot more opportunities to, you know, have these type of incidents. But that was just a normal basketball, you know, play. Hope he's good.
Yeah, and it seemed like right as he was coming down, the player from the Pacers' leg bumped his lower leg right before he hit the court and turned that ankle. But, you know, the early cancellations and postponements of games to start this season really compressed the back part of the NBA season. And so a lot of games flying at these guys. And, yeah, unfortunate the injuries are there, but part of the sport.
Good news when it comes to the Lakers. They're hoping to have Anthony Davis back soon. But as we know, the Lakers have lost a lot of games with players being out. In fact, Mike Trudell had a great stat, 68 games where the Lakers have been without at least someone. When you look at the Utah Jazz, just 15 for them. I think when you put it into perspective, though, you understand why the Lakers are being so cautious with Anthony Davis, with LeBron James, bringing guys back from injuries.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. I mean, they're not in a sense of desperation, not yet. So, I mean, AD is a future player, and we all know what LeBron brings to the table. I don't think they want to take a chance on, you know, injuring again, trying to force him into playing maybe at, you know, 90%. It's been nagging him. We know that's a serious injury. LeBron, that was just a unlucky play right there where a guy dove into his leg. But, you know, the players have been playing as hard as they can. And you're right, Allie. You know, AD is the future. Mm-hmm. You know, at least they think he's the future. So you don't want to take a chance on him hurting himself and then maybe having to sit out a lot, you know, next season. So I think the cautiousness is warranted.
And the benefit of the Lakers taking the start of this season very seriously. You know, they were on a mission, even with the adversity, playing good basketball. Great. And I think worked themselves enough cushion into the win-loss column that even with these guys out, they're still going to be in a position to make sure they have a good postseason seeding and then hopefully be healthy and playing their best at the right time.
It's a great point. We're going to dive into those standings coming up later in the show. But for now, let's get you live to Lakers reporter Mike Trudell, who joins us from Staples Center. Mike, are you available for some minutes today? Both teams dealing with a long injury report.
You know what, Allie? I think about out of the two of us. Now, look, that is kind of where you had to start, right, with Frank Vogel and the who's in, who's out. But Utah actually going to match it. And as you mentioned, that is not something they have dealt with this season. They've been super healthy, but not today. So let's go to Frank on that, and then we'll get to a bit more into the matchup.
Drummond is back in. He will start. Markieff Morris is a game-time decision. Dennis Schroeder is a game-time decision. They're going to see how it feels when they get out and move around a little bit. Marc Gasol is available, but is also dealing with some hamstring tightness and the broken finger, but is available. And I think everybody else is in, aside from AD and Bron, of course.
Frank, when you think about how many guys the Jazz are resting today and the injuries they have, the game you played against Charlotte, the game you played against Toronto, just guys out every which way, both teams. Are you just anticipating a lot more of these for the final 16, 15 games as teams are trying to rest and the schedule is just like jam-packed?
Yeah, my understanding is that they're not out for rest, but for injuries, and I don't anticipate teams are going to do a whole lot of resting, other than the final week of the season before the playoffs. But we'll see. It's one of those things that everybody's just got to manage their group the best that they can and get to the finish line healthy.
With the system that Utah has, how much can they replicate running the stuff they do without both Conley and Mitchell, whether it's Clarkson or Ingles? Do you expect to see somewhat of the same type of offense from Utah nonetheless?
Well, I think it's going to be more. There's going to be more differences with the fact they don't have Rudy and Favors. They're not going to play with a true lob threat rolling big tonight, which is a big part of what they do. They have multiple ball handlers in Donovan, Conley, but also Bogdanovich, Ingles, and Clarkson will all handle in very similar action. The difference tonight will be more of a spread 5 attack, with some of their shooting bigs replacing Rudy and Favors.
Yeah, so there's the key point from Frank there. Going to be more of a spaced-out Utah team today. And then by next game, you figure Gobert probably back in action. You figure Conley back in action as well, but not for today's game. So a little bit unique, this one at Staples Center.
Absolutely. Well done. As always, Mike. Fans, here's your chance to show your purple and gold pride. If you want to be our featured fan of the game, check out our Spectrum Sportsnet Twitter feed. Reply to our Modelo Fighting Spirit fan of the game post with a photo or video of you representing the purple and gold. We'll check in on the fan of the game before tip-off. Keep it here on Spectrum Sportsnet for the Lakers and Jazz. It's a Memphis reunion at Staples Center. Former Grizzlies greats Marc Gasol and Mike Conley catching up along with their former head coach, Lionel Hollins. Tip-off is coming up here at 1:30. And coming up on Access, Lakers, they've had Derek Fisher. Congrats on your first WNBA draft as a GM, by the way.
Thank you, Allie.
Well done, as always. Traded your 2022 first-round pick to move up and grab Jasmine Walker at number 7. I was just telling you, great stroke. Stephanie Watts, Arella Garantes?
Yes.
Who was a steal in the second round. How do you see their skill sets helping you guys?
Well, the size and versatility of the 3 players and even our goals in free agency, that's what we really focused on this offseason. Candace Parker's versatility departed. Chelsea Gray's size as a bigger guard out of the lineup. So finding players that can shoot the ball but also make plays with the basketball and defend and guard multiple positions as well.
For you, as your first time going into this, now on the GM side of things, what prepared you for your first draft in free agency?
Well,
I think to make these picks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just continuing to familiarize myself with the women's game and the type of players that you need in order to be successful in this league. The game is still growing and changing and evolving. And on the NBA side, the way the game is being played now, the WNBA is not far behind. So teams that are finding players that are skilled as ball handlers, playmakers, what we just got through hearing Frank Vogel talk about with the Jazz, right? Donovan Mitchell's out, but Mike Conley's out, but you have Bogdanovich, you have Ingles, and you have Clarkson. And you need those kind of players. And those are the type that we wanted to add.
And speaking of that, how do you see this roster shaping up? As you guys, the ultimate goal is to win that title. And now that you're putting it all together, how do you see that roster kind of coming into shape?
I think one of the most important things for our group as we kind of transition into this new era is to really establish a mindset and an approach to how we work together. You know, not just how we play basketball, but how we want to impact the community here in Southern California, the example we set for young women and women of color in Southern California and around the world, and the type of players that want to not just be great on the court, but also change the world, which is what a lot of women in the WNBA are already doing. So that's a big piece of what we were also looking for. And we want the championships to come, but we have to make a difference and impact the world we're living in.
Training camp right around the corner. I know you guys are celebrating season 25 for the Sparks. Yeah. What are the early goals, expectations you're diving into?
I think the early goals, one, are to appreciate the fact that this is the 25th season, not just for the Sparks, but for the WNBA as a whole. And hopefully we can all look back in another 25 seasons and feel like we've progressed in major ways. And so we want to play our game that way. We want to play as though we appreciate every opportunity to step on the court, and we want our fans to feel that. When they watch the Sparks play, we want them to see hair flying, shoes squeaking, and us getting after the opponent and just making people uncomfortable. We're going to play faster and more dynamic this year, and that's going to be evident every time you watch us play.
I know the draft was a bit different just because of protocols, and now it's virtual. But the other night, watching the young women, their name be called, you were drafted.
Yeah.
What was that like for you now on this side, just to see the reactions, the emotions, the expressions of them all, especially your girls?
Yeah, it's a joy. I think that, you know, for a young boy growing up in Little Rock, I could not have imagined ever getting a chance to be in the NBA when I was a kid. And I think watching these women, like, see their dreams come to life in real time, it took me back 25 years. So we just got to be talking about the 25th anniversary.
That long?
Yeah, 25 years since it was draft night for myself. And so one of the first things that we tried to share with them is, you know, enjoy this moment. Like, congratulations to you, but enjoy everything that comes with this. And, you know, we can't wait to get to work.
Obviously, because we care about you too. Have you been able to enjoy it? I mean, you're in here covering Lakers, but you're also, when you're not in here, you're on the phone, you're making the calls.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Basketball is truly a passion and a love that I have. And so if I were not doing this professionally, I'd still be doing something related to staying busy around this game. So I'm thankful, very fortunate. LA's been great to me. And now with the Sparks, just trying to continue to give back to the city.
Again, congrats on your first draft as GM, and we're looking forward to the season.
Thank you.
As it unfolds for you. The Sparks season is less than a month away. Speaking of, let's take a look at the first 5 games for the Sparks. May 14th, season starts with the Wings, followed by the Las Vegas Aces, then 2 in a row against the Sky, and then on the road against Dallas. Straight ahead on Access, the Lakers' shooting touch from deep has returned this month, and they also have been doing a good job defending it. Up next, it's Fish's Focus. Let's go inside Access. Lakers have been keeping games close because of their defense. Impressively, they have improved this month on defending the perimeter. Take a look at the numbers here. 30% holding teams in the month of April. As it's time now for Fish's Focus, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Good times.
Indeed. And Fish, you want to break down just exactly why that is, the perimeter defense by the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I think when LeBron went out versus the Hawks, we all took a collective breath, and we were hoping that he would be back soon. 14 games later, the Lakers are 6-8 since then, 5-5 in their last 10. And the reason why they are not just treading water, but really holding the fort down is because of their perimeter defense and the way that they communicate and use the length of their perimeter players to challenge shots. Here in transition, Wes Matthews pointing, talking to THT, because Wes has to hold to make sure Boucher is covered. That wingspan of THT, the arm goes up, forces Trent Jr. to push that shot to the left a little bit. Here, mismatch size-wise, Dennis with Claxton. McKinney in the lane instead of out here. protecting his teammate. On this closeout, Blake Griffin in the corner. One of the things you're supposed to do to get guys off the three-point line, run all the way through, challenge that shot. Dennis does a good job. He's the low man now. Comes over, gets outside that charge circle, takes a charge on Blake Griffin. Phenomenal team defense there by the Lakers. Here, late possession against the Hornets. This is the possession that really sealed the game. AC Fresh doing a good job warring over this screen here. Really physical, getting through. Andre helping KCP on the penetration. Hornets are now disrupted, running their offense 40 feet from the basket. Watch Alex here. Great job. Early stick hand. 2 stick hands go up. Contests the shot without fouling with 2 hands as well. Finishes the possession with the rebound. And that's why he finishes games. And his plus-minus is one of the highest in the league. And so those kind of details, like that's championship defense. And that's why when people ask me if the Nets and or Lakers meet in the finals, I always pick the Lakers because I don't think the Nets can do that for 7 games, but the Los Angeles Lakers can.
First, second, third efforts, 5 men on a string at all times. They know that that's what's going to get the job done. Great breakdown, as always. Big game. Not only are they running teams off the three-point line, but they're also finding that stroke as well. 40% from deep here in the month of April. That's 6th best in the league. Good to see it trending back in the right direction.
Yeah, it took them a few games, 4 games, to kind of figure out how to get that three-point shot without AD, without LeBron. And I think what I saw Schroeder attacking the bucket, collapsing the defense. Even Caruso getting into the paint and kicking it back out. Tucker getting into the lane. He's scoring, or either he's finding guys when they're dropping to the level of the ball. So it took them a while, but they had to get more aggressive in their offensive mode to try to make the defense help. Then they're kicking out to, Wes Matthews. McLemore got hot one game. So it's a different game that they're accustomed to. It's quicker. And it's more attacking the bucket, trying to break down the defense, and getting some easier shots that way.
And when you're playing energy, or you're playing defense with that kind of energy, it carries over to the offensive side.
No doubt.
Of the ball as well. The Lakers and Jazz are coming up here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Former Laker Jordan Clarkson has found a home in Utah. He's a contender for 6th Man of the Year. His 17 points per game off the bench tops in the NBA. And next on Access, AC Fresh has been a big part of the Lakers' success with AD and LeBron off the court. Up next, Mike Trudell goes one-on-one with the Eagle.
Here's an alley-oop to Montrezl Harrell for an easy dunk.
Every challenge gives us an opportunity for something great.
Here's Talen Horton-Tucker. Drives to the rim. 360, spin to the rim and in. And the route is on. 126-101. The most impressive win of the season for Los Angeles.
That's a hell of a win. We had it on board this morning, right? The opportunity for the best win of the year. That's the best win of the year. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
A brand new Backstage Lakers premieres today after our post-game coverage of Lakers Jazz. On this week's episode, head behind the scenes with head coach Frank Vogel for a look at his journey to LA, his championship DNA, and the road towards a title defense. That's Backstage Lakers only here on Spectrum Sportsnet. As Lakers remain short-handed, the Lakers' Swiss Army knife continues to shine. Alex Caruso makes it hard for us to find more and more ways in which he impacts the game. Over his last 10 games, AC Fresh may be averaging just 7 points, but is shooting an efficient 51% from the field to go along with 50% from deep. He continues to be asked to do a little bit more and seems to every time rise to the occasion. What's the key to get back in the win column today? Alex joins Mike.
All right, Alex Caruso kind enough to join us on the pregame show. So I got something sort of random for you first, Alex. We saw a play in the Brooklyn game, and after the play, you went over to the sideline. You were talking to AD. Marc Gasol was there. LeBron was there. And I was just wondering, was it about like a defensive coverage? How did those things go during the game? And it looked like maybe KD and Kyrie were involved in the play. Please, feel free to fill in however you want on this one.
Yeah, just trying to be precise about our coverages and stuff like that. And they're they've had so many years in the league, and 2 of those guys best defensive players in the league. So just anytime I can get tidbits from them on how we want to play it, positioning, timing-wise, it's always good to listen and learn a little bit from those guys.
Yeah, it seems like that's been just such a key for you guys defensively in maintaining what you have without LeBron and AD, just the way that you guys play physically as guards in the perimeter. And when there's something like that, AC, you're a coach's son. Like, are you kind of just managing doing the right basketball play typically, but then also, wait, it's Kevin Durant, and like that stuff must come up every game, right?
Yeah, you have certain coverages for certain players, and at the end of the day, you got to do your best to try and execute them and play hard and compete. But sometimes in this league, better offense beats good defense, and you just kind of live with it. So for those guys, it's about competing, making it hard for them. At the end of the day, move on to the next play if they make tough shots.
All right, so this game going to be a little bit different against Utah. So no Mike Conley because of a back-to-back, no Donovan Mitchell because of an ankle sprain. How much do you think that changes what Utah does and how you guys might play defensively?
Yeah, I think they're going to do a lot of the same stuff. I think they're a culture-based organization. I think they believe in the stuff they're doing, and that's probably why they're in the first seed right now, is because they've been doing it well all year. And I think they kind of just put people in no matter who's on the team and who's out on the court for them. So for them, I expect mostly the same stuff. Obviously, some stuff will be different when you're missing, some of the players they are and some of the skill sets that they have. But for them, I think it'll be mostly the same. And for us, it's the same stuff. Try to create great shots by getting to the paint on offense, and then defense, try to compete and hold guys as close to 100 points as possible.
All right, and final thing for you. You guys know something about missing players this season. 67 games missed to starters, but looks like AD is on the way soon enough. I just wondered if you guys have gotten a sense of how he's feeling and how excited he is to get back to the court.
He's looking good. His energy and excitement's up, so I'm guessing he's nearing to coming back. You can always tell when a guy's been out for a while when they start bouncing around and are a little more excited and joyful than usual. So excited to have him back soon, but obviously, he's going to come back when he's ready, and we'll be ready for him.
AC, appreciate the time, man.
Yep, thanks, Mike.
Let's talk a little defense. Two teams presented today in the matchup. 2 and 3 when it comes to fewest points allowed in the NBA. The Lakers at number 2 at just under 106 a game. The Jazz right behind them at just under 108. James, what has impressed you most on the defensive end of the floor as the Lakers have remained atop the league defensively without 2 of the best defenders in the game? Not just on the team, in the game.
A lot of teams have like what they consider defensive stoppers, and it might be 1 or 2 of them on a team. But the thing about the Lakers is everybody is engaged. Everyone is a stopper. It's the way they communicate. Fish just showed you on the Fish's focus how they're always communicating, always alert. And I think it also starts at the top. When Coach Vogel came in here, that was the thing that was his brand. And, the players bought into it. AD came in and said he wanted to be the defensive player of the year. But I think, it starts with the coach. I remember Pat Riley told us after we had Showtime, Fast Break, and the Celtics, they beat us pretty bad. And that's when first time I heard that, defense and rebounds is what wins games. Rebound and defense. And that's what the Lakers are doing collectively. It's not just 2 or 3 players. They're on a string together.
And we still like to celebrate and show the highlights of the great, offensive plays. But as that list shows you, all 5 of those teams that are holding teams to the fewest points are all in the playoff standings right now. So like James just said, the defense, the rebounding, that's ultimately what will get it done for you. Shooting will always be high and low. And yes, Frank Vogel, the coaching staff, the reason why they've drafted certain guys or assigned certain players in free agency is because they have that mindset to compete on that end, and it's working together.
One player who won't be absent for the Jazz today is former Laker Jordan Clarkson. Check this out. Career highs in points per game and plus minus, and his free throw percentage leads the league. Guys, he's shooting 95% from the charity stripe. He found his niche in Utah. You knew he could score the basketball, and he's a top candidate for 6th man of the year. Big game.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it seems like every former Laker, Ingram, Randall, now Clarkson. But no, I knew when Jordan was here, it was just a matter of time. He's young, You know, a lot of times you have to be in the league 2 or 3 years before you figure out, you know, am I going to get serious about this? Am I going to try to, you know, be the best I can be? And Jordan did. His hard work is second to none. Again, I credit Coach Snyder for knowing how to use him and giving him that confidence that he can play in that system to his utmost potential, and potential, you know, 6th Man of the Year award coming his way, perhaps.
And sometimes as fans, right, like how we're wrong. You know what I mean? Like a lot of young players have come through L.A. the last 6 or 7 years, and we didn't like what they were doing because we thought they should have been better. And now, you know, as they've matured and they've learned how to be pros on any team, they've gone out and done great jobs, and they deserve the credit for putting the work in.
Speaking of Jordan Clarkson, I was in Cleveland when he came from L.A. to Cleveland, and I remember one of the first things I picked up from being in practice watching him, he did not care who was on the floor. He did not care who was around him. That ball was going up. That confidence is something
one thing he learned from Kobe. That's one thing he did learn from Kobe, and I think he really did pick that up.
Exactly. And you mentioned it, B.I., Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson. They're making a name in a strong way for themselves in this league. And they may not be wearing a Laker uniform anymore, but it makes you proud.
It does. You know, the Lakers were not wrong in their picks. It just so happened that in this business, things change. You know, I'm sure they would love to have all 3 of those guys, but because of the changes that the Lakers needed to make to get where they are now, win a championship, sometimes you have to give up great commodities in order to get a greater one. So I'm very happy for all 3 of those guys. You know, they're outstanding, you know, young men, and, you know, they've progressed and gotten better. They've learned from being traded and how that's the business of this league. So, yeah, I'm happy for them.
And the impact of great players like Kobe Bryant, like LeBron James, where, you know, these guys early in their careers got a chance to see how some of the greatest players do things on a daily basis, how they prepare themselves, how they bring that mentality to work at it every night. And when they get their chance on their new teams, they're taking advantage of it.
One of the story that just went viral with Julius Randle, we heard it the other night against the Lakers. Kobe Bryant's impact. No matter where you land, what city you're in, go find a gym. And he's attributing to that success that he's having now in the league. Lakers picked up 2 wins, most notably the win against the Nets. Time to check out our top plays from the week that was. We begin with number 10, Friday against the Celtics. Fans allowed in Staples Center for the first time. Big game, March 10th, 2020.
Yeah, we didn't get that Celtic ass, but you know what? Our fans were back. Our fans were back in the house regardless. So that was a good thing. Look, the Celtics played a great game. Lakers obviously were shorthanded, and Fish said it best a week ago. He said, look, you come off that long road trip, that first game going to be tough.
It's tough.
And it was.
Number 9 in Brooklyn, Fish, Ben McLemore, 17 off the bench.
Quick trigger. Where you at, Brooklyn? Then McLemore's feeling it.
Their ad. Number 8 against Boston, THT overpowers Peyton Pritchard. Big game.
Yeah, always under control. A little stutter step, a little herky-jerky, and before you know it, he's at the rim. His control is, for a 20-year-old, is unreal, the way he's playing right now.
Number 7, some bully ball from Dre. Fish.
Yeah, all I can think about is best wishes and congratulations to LaMarcus Aldridge on a phenomenal career. Gonna miss him out there on the court.
Absolutely. Some saying a Hall of Fame career.
For sure.
Number 6, off of a pick and roll, big game, THT finding Trez at the rim.
Yeah, they run this play, but I rarely see it, maybe once a game. But yeah, that's a good play. Caught the defense completely off guard and out of position.
Number 5, still in Brooklyn, THT with a nice spin move. Gets to the rack. And the foul, Fish.
It's hard to explain to people how difficult that is. To spin, be on balance, get downhill, reverse to the other side. THT.
Makes it look so easy.
Kuzma short, but Drummond's going to get an opportunity. Throw it down, big fella.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know who Moses Malone is, Google. But this is a modern-day Moses Malone right here. just a Tasmanian devil, loves the contact. Get out of my way. That's what he said.
Number 3, clutch AC Fresh in Charlotte, Fish.
Yeah, that's going to go a long way. That is going to go a long way, I think, for Alex. He's going to be in that situation again in the postseason, and he is going to know, as well as his teammates, that he can knock down the clutch 3 when they need it.
And number 2, take a listen.
First quarter, I thought he was dragging it a bit. When I say dragging it, not really running freely, but he seems to be playing through it.
Well, here he is. Throw it down, Kuz.
Doesn't look too bad on that, did it?
On the run, the one-hand hammer.
That was a classic give and go, but it was more like a give and sprint. He got the ball up court quickly and then a mad sprint outrunning the defense, and the finish was Statue of Liberty.
So Kyle Kuz-esque. Number 1 against the Knicks. Caruso with the
Okay. AC
Reverse.
Fresh, the THT in the garden. That's nice right there from half court.
Think that was his first garden moment, maybe? THT?
Yeah, that's a garden moment right there. That's a nice poster. Do they make posters still?
Oh, I don't know, but that should be a poster.
That's an NFT. That's
Yeah,
what
I
that
was
is
just
now.
watching a little show. They're talking about cards last year, and then this year, his card went up like one of the highest.
Are you into that? Are you on? You've been talking about it a little
If
bit.
I can find one of mine, I'll damn sure turn it in. I'm not a card guy, but I got some laying around the house. I'm going to check them.
We're getting closer to tip-off. Andre Drummond is back in the starting lineup after missing Thursday's game. He's averaged 9 and 9 in a Lakers uniform with Utah's top 2 bigs out. He could feast this afternoon. And next on Access, just how high can